Not content with your content? You've come to the right place. The Discontent Show with Joe Kuzma. Every brand starts with a story. Here's how you can grow your business by sharing it. Now, with today's topic, the host of The Discontent Show, Joe Kuzma.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Discontent Show. My name is Joe Kuzma, and welcome and Happy New Year. And for those of you who may not be aware, because in this wonderful world that we have of content marketing, I was able to record my other shows in advance, get through the holidays, spend some time with friends and family, and hopefully these New Year's resolutions that I picked up from an Inc. magazine article will also help you as well, not only to enjoy some more free time on your own and not go crazy by trying to chase content, but also to help you in this new year with 4 New Year's resolutions. They actually titled this article 4 Digital Marketing New Year's Resolutions, and well, I'm reading some of the bullet points off of this list. Trust me, I'm not reading this list verbatim because I have my own take on some of this, and that's what gave me the idea for today's show, is based on this Inc. magazine article. Let's get started, because you're probably wondering, what are these New Year's resolutions, Joe? And I was, kind of thinking to myself that this would have been a good idea to talk about headed into the new year. You want to freshen some things up. You want to change some things. Well, it's exactly what they're suggesting with their first idea here, change your style, which I'm like, what does change your style exactly mean? Then I saw, they're talking about like your website. They're talking about making some small changes to freshen up your brand. And it's not a bad idea, to be completely honest, is to pull yourself back at the beginning of this year and see. You may have a website that's been around for a few years. Is there something that you dislike about it? Is there something that you would like to change? Is there something that you think maybe isn't so user-friendly, or maybe you've outgrown, or you have some other new ideas or new takes? It's something that I'm almost tinkering with constantly, to be completely honest. And you almost get kind of in a frame of mind where you've done so much of this tinkering over the years that you may not want to overhaul everything. Well, you don't necessarily have to overhaul everything, but you just never know what a change, maybe a tweak in a color that you use as far as your branding, a new logo, something like that. They're talking graphic as far as the Inc. magazine article is concerned. They talk about user navigation. I'm thinking about even just the names and titles of pages. You may want to look and try and dig in and see what kind of keywords that people are searching for in your industry, and perhaps maybe you don't have that illustrated properly on your website. Maybe you have a copyright date on your website that just needs as simple as this, and I've already been doing this with some clients, changed and updated to reflect the new year, 2019. I mean, we're kind of, it's going to be June by the time I get used to writing 2019 on things, but it doesn't mean that now in the new year you shouldn't already have some of these things updated. That's a real small change. You should also make sure, if you've updated or always go through the regular checklist of making sure that you have proper phone numbers and addresses. Maybe you moved, maybe your business is relocated, or you've changed a number, or any kind of things like that. You just want to kind of go through even and click on all of your individual links. If you have a relatively small website with static pages, such as a home page, about page, contact page, make sure those things are working and functional. And the things on those pages, the items on those pages, maybe you had a Google map and something's changed, or check out your contact form. If you have a web form and it uses like one of those recaptchas where you click to make sure you're actually a human when you're submitting it, those are the type of things you want to make sure are working and functional, and they could be harming your business or brand. So definitely, maybe not necessarily change your style, but also just make sure your style is still in style and everything is still working. Another idea that they had here was to increase engagement. And of course, we're talking about social media marketing there. We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Twitter, Instagram, whatever you might be on. And maybe that's not necessarily grabbing a whole bunch of new followers, but you kind of want to maybe pull back. You could listen to some of the ideas that I have in previous episodes of this show. They should be archived anywhere where you're listening, and you can get some ideas for new content or what some of those things should be. I usually always talk about a specific 3 ideals when it comes to social media, when it comes to posting anywhere, and you can get some ideas there on what might be new, might be a fresh take, but also something that kind of maybe sets you in the right direction is to just kind of, are you doing good with customer service there, or building community and brand awareness? Are you engaging and talking to those people who want to be engaged with? And of course, I always talk too, because you're going to get complaints. There's going to be negatives sometimes out there in the social media world. There's also a way to deal with it publicly versus privately. I discussed that. I have an entire episode dedicated to that, as well as some blog posts too. So this is maybe a perfect time for you to refresh your social media marketing strategy, and you want to make sure that you're talking with your audience, that you take the time. But also I discuss some other tools that you could use to save some time, not only writing blog posts or posting to social media. They're on the website over at joekuzma.com as well. But, I'm talking about Hootsuite. I'm talking about Buffer. I'm talking about these things, just like I opened up the show with saying, when I record something, sometimes I record a couple of podcasts all at once, and then I'm able to schedule them. And I'm not I'm not necessarily handcuffed to every single Wednesday or something. I have to sit down, record, do this, do that, because life happens. Maybe I have to, maybe even myself have to run to an urgent care because I'm not feeling well and I literally can't speak into a microphone. Well, these are the same things you could do with social media. So keep this in mind, that there are tools out there. There's free and paid tiers for these utilities. There are other programs as well besides a Hootsuite or a Buffer or Deliver It. I'm trying to think of some others. I think there's Sprout Social. I don't use necessarily as much. There's also if this, then that, which you could set to automate some of your things as well. And it just, this is going to make your life a lot easier with trying to get your word out about your brand or business and try and reach potential new customers, but also make sure you're having a conversation with them as well. Make sure if you have Facebook Messenger and it's set up with your Facebook page, that you're not ignoring any requests that come through on that Facebook page, because you know what? That's never a good thing. So there's a New Year's resolution for you. Another one that Inc. magazine definitely identifies here is organizing your data. And I know everyone, this is like trying to get all your receipts together for tax season. And I say every year I'm going to do it in January, and then it's April, and then, what happened? Well, this is something that you can make a goal and do. You could do it as easily as signing up for some project management software or collaboration software. There's a number of items like that I've also covered in various blog posts and podcasts for my website here. And one of those is very easy, and it's very highly customizable, and that's Trello, and I love it to death. There's free and paid tiers for that as well. There's all kinds of different checklist apps that you could use, like Todoists, or I think Microsoft Tasks, which overtook the previous Wunderlist, which still works and I still use. And obviously, if you're locked into Apple's kind of ecosystem there, they have different note-taking and reminders apps to make checklists and whatnot. You could do a lot of the same even using a program such as Evernote to kind of corral some of these ideas and put them all, I like to think, put them all in the same basket or all in the same bucket. But as well, you could also hook up with some programs, start, you're emailing people, you're getting messages on Facebook, you're getting phone calls, you're getting texts. Why not put all of that into one bucket as well? You could use a program such as Slack to collaborate and communicate with other people that are in your team, part of your company, whoever may need that type of functionality in order to complete some of these tasks. And some of these things go hand in hand together. Of course, Dropbox puts everything in the cloud for you as well when you're dealing with files. So that way, if you're using multiple devices, such as a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop or a computer, you could access these files from everywhere instead of, I lost a flash drive. So these are different ways you could organize your data, organize your ideas, organize your collaboration, so you're not left wondering, did I send that link to myself via an email, via a text? Did I send it to that person? Who sent it to me from where? Where can I find it? Is it bookmarked here? There's all kinds of things now in 2019 that can help you be better organized and keep track of all kinds of information. And I know, it may seem like a daunting task, but it's really not, because once you get in the habit of doing these things on a daily basis and you kind of consolidate them all into one area, it's going to make your life so much easier that you're going to wonder how you ever did this before. And you're going to wonder how you get so much done as well. One of the other things that Inc. likes to talk about here is enhancing your mobile format. And this has to deal with your website as well as, I'd even say, your social media presence, because if you're out there and you're publishing images or photos, you want to make sure that they fit and work within whatever platform you're using. Obviously, Instagram is always a square. I discussed in a previous episode how to get picture-perfect images on social media or on your blog, and some of the pitfalls or downfalls, I should say, of if you don't follow the correct specifications there and you have things that are chopped off or words that don't fit on like a poster, and it's not a good look, and particularly it's not going to look good when you're looking at it on a phone. That's what they mean by enhancing your mobile format. But your website, if you got one that's kind of long in the tooth, it might not be designed with people on the go in mind. And what I mean by that is anywhere from 60 to 65% of all your website visitors are now going to visit you on a smartphone, on a mobile device, on a tablet. So if you have these devices handy and you have a website, you're going to want to look and see what anything looks like on one of these other devices. Test it out, look for yourself, and see where you need to go from there. It also kind of goes with changing up your style. You're going to want to look at your social media too and make sure that those things look presentable, because Facebook cuts off things after a certain amount of words. It's going to just say see more, and those are the kind of things you want to think about. Am I getting to the point quick enough? Am I going to be able to reach and actually engage with some of my audience? And let's face it, here's another thing too. We're constantly on the go. You may not even have these things set up on your own smartphone to be able to engage with some of your audience. You could set up notifications and alerts. If you have a business phone, you have a personal phone, or they happen to be the same thing, you might want to manage that a little bit differently too, and that goes back to organizing some things, because perhaps you're already doing some of the things that I'm suggesting here, and now you're just going crazy with all of the notifications, status alerts, and bings and bongs that are happening on your phone. I get it. I understand it. I've been there. I've done that. I'll probably do it again as well. So these are all things that I've been pulling back myself and making sure that I'm looking at for the new year, my New Year's resolutions, as well as Inc. Magazine's New Year's resolutions for 2019. I hope this is a helpful episode, while albeit short. I wanted to kind of get to the point. I wanted to give you those 4 things just to rehash, change your style, make sure everything has like a look and a feel and it works. Okay. You want to make sure everything's functional. You want to increase your engagement. This is more or less how you interact with others on social media. If you're interacting or doing anything on social media at all, you may have to pull back a few steps here, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Got to go backwards just a little bit if you're not already doing enough on social media to even try and get any type of engagement. Another item was organizing your data, or just becoming organized in general. There's a lot of ideas there when it comes to software and things that will help save your time and make your content marketing efforts, make all of that more efficient. So, of course, you could relax when you need to relax. And then finally, you need to think about the mobile formats. You need to think about smartphones and tablets and how all of your digital assets operate within those realms. If you happen to be a podcaster like I am, you kind of want to just maybe go back and look at all of the different platforms that you may be on. iTunes, for example, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Spreaker, even YouTube, where this show is also simulcast. You want to go in there, take a look, make sure everything's working, everything looks the way that you want it to be. And of course, if you change your style, let's say you change a logo, or you change some colors, or you do something fancy for the new year on your website, you're going to want to take a look at all of those items anyways, a podcast or social media or wherever else you may have a presence, and make sure everything's aligned and up to date and looks the same, because you don't want an old logo on your Facebook page when you change it on your website. So just a little bit of a bonus one there. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, if you have any questions for me, head on over to joekuzma.com, and you could click on contact. I'm also available through all of the various social media platforms that I'm on. Don't forget to give a like. Don't forget to give a follow. Don't forget to subscribe to this episode wherever you may be listening. Until next time, my name is Joe Kuzma, and I encourage all of our listeners to be safe, be good, and I'll catch you later. Hi folks, this is Joe Kuzma. No, don't worry, you're not hearing things twice. I'm just here to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to today's show and being a follower and subscriber of the Discontent Podcast. And I want to remind you that if you're interested in more information about all the various things it is that I do, whether it be about this show, content marketing, or you want to ask a question, you may visit me at joekuzma.com. That's JOEKUZMA.com. Or you can follow me as well on Facebook. Make sure you get the page and not the personal profile. Sorry, it's only for friends and family. Also on Twitter at Joe_Kuzma, LinkedIn or Instagram. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, whether that be on iTunes, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider, so you don't miss out on any of the great episodes that we have. Once again, thank you again for your support, and I look forward, as always, to speaking and interacting with each of you again soon.